really to go any more further into that. I'm still going to respect his personal, all his respect his privacy. So, but he is not here today.
Do you expect him to play this week?
Again, he's not here today. That's all as far as I'm going to go this week, and we're going to respect his privacy.
How about Jordan Mailata? Is he going to return to practice?
He will be limited today. He'll be limited today, and so we're excited to get him back out there and get moving around. So look forward to seeing him in walkthrough here in a little bit, and then what he can do with his limited reps there today in practice.
We've seen a lot of plays designed to get the ball to Jalen Reagor. Can you call those against any defense? Can you have them in the game plan every week?
Yes and no. I mean, there's some plays like it depends on which plays you're talking about. I get what you're saying, and so sometimes it's depending on the defensive line techniques, and sometimes it's dependent on the secondary techniques, and so you can. There's different kind of variations of that. You can't have them all in each week, again, because there's just a lot of different reps. But, yeah, we just want to sprinkle creative ways to get him the football because we know he's a creative playmaker.
Nick, in game planning and then in game situations, do you ever worry about overcorrection? For instance, if you see a disparity of shots on the field or a disparity of run plays, do you ever worry about, in your brain saying, hey, I need to run the ball more or pass the ball deeper?
Again, everything I do is just what I think's best to do to win that football game, and so that's going to look different each and every week. Some weeks it's going to look like there's a lot of RPOs. Some weeks there's going to be gadgets. Some weeks it's going to be shots down the field. Some weeks it's going to be dink and dunk. We know there's many different ways to win the game, and we do have a scheme, and we do fit our, and we do have players that fit our scheme, and vice versa. We try to fit our scheme for our players, and that just changes. That's why I just don't get too caught up in all that, knowing that our plan and the way we kind of attack, and even if it's a certain play, like maybe we're running this certain play, but we get to it a little different way with a motion or with a shift or with a different personnel grouping. So, I don't get too wrapped up into that. Again, it's just whatever we need to do that week to win the game, because it's to go, just say you're going to go out and just run a certain play every single week, or certain just plays every single week. I just don't think you're putting your players in position to truly succeed if you're doing that.
This time last week, you were very hard on yourself, very critical of yourself, looking back at some things. As you now get ready for this game and you look at the penalties, how much of all the things that you guys have struggled with are the penalties ticking you off, and what in the world can you guys do to fix that, like right here, right now?
Yeah, the penalties are a big problem, and we're still ticked off about them, and we're still working like crazy to get those fixed. And that's everything that you see on this football field has my name on it, right? I'm the head football coach. I know my responsibility. I know what I'm responsible for, and it's everything, every product out there is my responsibility. And so we're working like crazy to get it fixed, and we need to get it fixed because, again, when you're, I'll speak of offense here quick for a second. When you're creating the explosive plays that we're creating, and you're moving the ball up and down the field like we're doing, right? You want more to show for it, like with the points, like, because that's all it's about, is scoring points and winning and having more points than the other team. And so those things, those negative plays that put you behind the chart, those are what stall drives out. Those are what create field goals, or those are what create a punt or whatever it is. And so and the pre-snap penalty is no different. And then on defense too, you want to keep the offense in the second and long, and you want to keep them out of second and manageable and third and manageable. But a product of the Chiefs having a high, one of the reasons the Chiefs had a high third down conversion is because we'd have them in 3rd and 7, and then they were in 3rd and 2, or and that happened a couple times. So obviously those are things that are easier for an offense to do when they're in third and short. So yeah, we got to fix that, and we know the why behind why we got to fix it, and we're working like crazy to do so.
How do you specifically go about fixing it? Do you have to change your approach with players? What do you specifically have to do?
Yeah, my approach with players has been the same, for the entire time. It's like we're going to correct the mistakes that we see, and just the tone changes every once in a while. It's not the same like delivery every time, but we're always correcting the mistakes, right? Because if we let a mistake go, then we're saying that's okay. And so that's one thing, is obviously just to correct it. But then there are some things that we need to do better as far as technique goes. And what I mean by that is, like, when you get a couple things like illegal men downfield, you got to change the blocking technique a little bit so you don't put your guys at risk for being downfield. So, there's things, it's one aspect of it, because there's just a lot of different variations here. One aspect of it is, the correction to the player. The other one of the aspects is fixing a technique. Another aspect is us fixing our coaching style of what we're asking them to do on certain plays that are getting penalties. So everything, like, we're not willing to accept any 5-yard penalty or any 10-yard penalty or any 15-yard penalty. Do they happen? Sure, they're going to happen. But so that's why it's just, there's a standard, and we hold ourselves to that standard, and we correct to that standard with everything that we do.
Hey, Nick, to kind of follow up on Dave's earlier question, not just Jalen, do you think as a coach there are manufactured touch players, for lack of a better term, guys you have to get the football to at certain times, not singling anybody out, but just in general?
Sure, yeah. I mean, I think that everything is always players plays, formations. That's the same thing I've been thinking from the beginning. So, yes, you want to manufacture it, but you also, like, I think I know where you're leading to this with the RPO game. Like, you want to manufacture it sometimes, but sometimes, when you manufacture it, you put your offensive line in a bad position on the backside where they can't get the cutoff because you're just handing the ball off. And now that's not to say we don't run a lot of, we run a lot of just called runs, and they're not all RPOs. You know what I'm saying? So, but yeah, you just always want to think about players first, but then again, you just don't want to. I know I'm kind of answering it yes to both, but you just don't want to put them in a bad spot, the offensive line in a bad spot either, in those things.
With playing status uncertain, what's the approach with Jack Driscoll this week? Do you play him the tackle, do you play him the guard?
Yeah, I think that again is a competitive advantage for us, not to say where we're going to play guys, especially with Jordan back in the mix, and there's more elements into it this week with some guys back, and particularly Jordan, obviously. So competitive advantage for us that we'll keep close to the vest for right now.
With Kenny Gainwell, from the pre-draft process, what kind of stood out to you? Was there a moment watching tape where you recognized that he would be kind of a fit for you guys? And what is it about him that's a fit for this offense? We
were looking for that type of back that we've had a lot of success with in this offensive style, dating back to Danny Woodhead with the San Diego Chargers, and then Naheem Hines with the Indianapolis Colts. And we saw Kenny's tape, and we kind of looked at it, and we were like, man, that's the guy. That's the guy that kind of fits that role of plays we've kind of schemed for guys like that who've had good success. And then you got to watch the tape, and while you're watching the tape, you see those pass plays they made, and then you see how strong he was with the ball in his hands. Like, he's a strong dude, and he can break tackles. He's just got good lower body strength, good balance, and you saw that not only did he have that ability to make the play in the pass game, but also in the run game.
How has Miles reacted to? I mean, their touches are about even over the last couple of weeks. How has Miles reacted to that situation?
I've seen Miles just be the same guy every single day, put into work every single day to get better. Does he want the football? Of course he does, and that's any good player. That's any player in general, and that's the same way it's going to be in the receiver room or the tight end room or the running back room. Like, they all want the ball, and that's a good problem. That's a good problem to have, that you got guys that want the football, and that's our job to get it to them. But there is only one football, and when you kind of are going up and down the field like we did the last week, the guys that got the football last week, it was just a product of what was happening. And so I think the guys see that, and but obviously they still want the ball, and we got to do what's best that week to get the players the ball that the defense is going to allow us, and force the issue sometimes as well.
What's your philosophy with the staff in terms of like hours worked? Is there a time at night when you want to?
I don't let them leave. I'm just kidding. I actually came in the other day, this morning, and I said to Shannon, I said, "Did you make it home last night?" And he said, "Yeah, I got home." I'm like, "Shoot." it's not a set hours. You got to do what you need to do to get done. I don't make them watch their desk or wait till I leave or whatever, right? And so we got to get our job done. I know we start really early. We start anywhere from between guys come in at 5, 6. No one's in later than 6, and then it just depends on the day of when we work till. Tuesdays, Mondays, Tuesdays, Wednesdays. Those are going to be a little later nights. Thursdays a little bit shorter. Fridays a little bit shorter than that. So I don't want to say a set time, but we're in here, we're grinding, and the candle's burning pretty long.
Nate, what do you like about Greg Ward in that red zone package?
He just got a good feel, good savvy. That's where I like Greg is just his feel for things and finding zones, finding holes, and then he's got quickness to be able to separate when it is man to man, and he's sure-handed.
Has there been anything about Jalen Hurts that's kind of surprised you with the way he's played the first 4 games?
No, I mean when you're with him at practice every single day, you're evaluating practice like you would a game. So you're seeing nothing's going to catch us off guard in a game that we aren't anticipating in practice. Like that was my message to the guys today. Like, hey, it's all about putting yourself in position to be able to win the game on Sunday. And how do you do that? It's by practicing hard, practicing right. I mean, the plays we're going to run this week on Sunday are the ones we're repping out at practice. The plays that look good in practice, we're going to call in the game, right? Plays that don't look good in practice, we're not going to call in the game. So, because we have that approach to practice, I don't think we see things. Nothing's really a surprise when we go out there. What I love about how Jalen's playing is he's really playing. I think he's playing the position of quarterback well, right? He's making the right decisions with the football. He's making accurate throws when he needs to create. He's creating, and he's getting to where we want him to play. I think he's playing really good football. He's turned himself into a good quarterback, and so we're looking to just in that. But part of that is consistency, and we just got to do that each and every week. So look forward to the challenge that we have this week with Jalen and with the Panthers.
Last one, guys. Game management question from talking to JG yesterday. You mentioned he got caught in that Tyreek Hill, Merrick Wilson on him. Now, if he's in a position where he says, okay, we're not in the right defense, I got to call timeout, how does that kind of work?
Particularly in those situations, I'm over on that side of the headset with Jonathan to talk through that. And I don't know if you can see me on those areas. And I wouldn't expect you to know where I was, but I usually, when they're down in the red zone like that, I usually stand down there. I get to stand away from everybody for that one, and I get to stand down there by the referees. And if we had an issue, I would call a timeout in that scenario. We were in a zone scheme in that one. I know Jonathan talked to you guys about that one, but that wasn't discussed on that one. But that's where we are, and that's how we kind of handle that.
All right.
Thanks.